Hey guys, welcome back to Our Small House. We just wanted to catch base with you and talk to you about day 1, 2, and 3 for our kitchen remodel. And basically, we're going to start with day 1. And we're going to start with our first scene here. And this is our day 1. And as you can see with our day 1, it was a huge impact to our kitchen. So, what do you think about day 1?
It went rather quickly. So to sum it up, it was the big demo day. So we took down our, not we, but the people from Lowe's came and took down the cabinets and backsplash and countertops. And the appliances were taken out.
So what we're seeing here actually is on that backsplash, which you just talked about, my wife just talked about, is that they actually couldn't take just the tile off of it. The actual board was starting to peel off of it, so they had to actually rip out the board in the back of it. And because of
The drywall?
the drywall, basically, they had to rip out the drywall on the back of it. And because they had to rip out the drywall, you can actually see our studs on the back planks like that. And they said that that was actually not completely unusual. They say sometimes that the tile will peel off, but in our case, it did not peel off. So we were left with studs, and they had to actually redo it. They're going to have to actually redo it.
Okay, and then another thing that happened during day one was the valves, right?
Yeah, so our valves were a big deal during day 1. Basically, what happened with the valves is that they started to leak. So when he went in with the kitchen to turn them off, he noticed that our valves were still bubbling. And what that means is that the valve is actually broken. Now, Lowe's will not touch plumbing, so it was left up to me to take care of the issue. We had to install all 3 new valves underneath our sink before Lowe's would continue on with the project. So I went ahead and did take care of that on day 1 so that we could stay on schedule.
Okay, so um, in day one, they were here from 8:30 and they left by what was it? I think around 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was just one person who came and did all of this work. And
Yeah, so what happened to the other person?
he called out sick.
Okay, yeah. So we only had one person working on it, and he did his best to manage as much demolition as possible, and he did pretty well with the demolition um, for the entire kitchen.
All right, so are we ready to move to day two?
Yeah, let's check out day 2.
Okay, so day two was actually pretty simple. All that happened was that the floor guys came in and they cut out the linoleum, and that was actually a bigger project than they had anticipated because that under the linoleum was a subfloor made out of plywood, and that actually had to be sawed out. So they took a saw to it and cut it out, and they were here from 7:30 and they left around 3 o'clock. So it was quite a project just taking out that floor.
Did they leave the vinyl? Did they show where they saw it at or anything like that? Did they actually needed to chop it? I mean, I wasn't there on this project, so did you see anything? Like, what did they actually saw out? Did you see anything?
It was a plywood subfloor that was the linoleum was glued onto.
Okay. And so they actually had to take a saw and like literally strip the linoleum with the saw.
Not just the linoleum, but the plywood,
The
the layer
subfloor.
of plywood that was under the linoleum.
Wow, that's a massive taking. And then they also did the baseboards, that's right?
Yeah, they they took out the baseboards too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So by the end of day 2, um, we have no more linoleum in our kitchen. And that pretty much sums up day 2. And now we're ready to move on to day 3.
Yeah, so day 3, they installed cabinets. And these cabinets were the boxes that you've seen, if you've seen, what been watching some of our videos, that have been sitting in our family room there, our dining room. And those cabinets were installed um, on day 3.
Yeah, and so just to make perfectly clear, it's just a partial cabinet installment. Not all of the cabinets are in yet. We still have a cabinet that needs to come in, but it wasn't able to because it needs the countertop to be installed. So today was just about the cabinet installation. And they also did the drawers and the drawer inserts.
And what did you like best about the cabinet installation after it was done when you saw some of it actually go up?
It was just amazing how fast they did it. So on day 3, there were 2 guys actually. So they came at 8:30 and they were done around 3:30. So 2 guys did this in that amount of time, and it was pretty amazing. Just every couple hours I checked in, so something big was happening. And as you can see, even the crown on top was finished today. So pretty amazing. It happened very quickly.
And they even did the drywall, didn't they, on the back there?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you remember back to day 1, we had holes in a wall because of the from the backsplash demolition, and so he put up drywall, and so that was the other thing that happened today.
Yeah, the cabinets themselves, when I first came home and took a look at them, looked pretty amazing. Of course, I was in the dark at the time, looking at them. And it really did bring in the effect of the openness of the house. They are a cherry wood, and you did confirm with them, because we've talked about this before. You actually confirmed with the cabinet installer that the cherry wood would
Darken.
darken.
Yeah, he confirmed with us that it will darken over time and that he's worked on these woods before, and that it's a very common thing for them to arrive a few shades lighter than the color they're going to be eventually as the sun gets to them. So we, although we love these cabinets and the colors, we do hope that they will darken some over time. So we did have a problem arose on day 3, and we will do a follow-up video on that specific issue.
Yeah, so please stay tuned for a follow-up video on the issue that we do have with our current project. I think it's definitely going to enlighten some.
Okay, yes. So to be continued.
This is our small house out. Thank you for tuning in. Please leave some comments and feedback.